There is a strange phenomenon going on right now in public schools. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but in the past few years alone, I have seen so many videos, so many stories of teachers being attacked essentially by the students. One of the more recent ones I did cover just recently of a teacher being hit in the head by a chair from a student. The disregard for authority and the complete lack of empathy is really mind-boggling at this point. When I was in school, and that wasn't too long ago, I'm not that old, I rarely heard about things like this happening. Not to say they didn't happen, it just definitely was not happening at the rate it's happening now. I mean, personally, I've seen heated debates between a student and a teacher. Hell, when I was in the 8th grade in a biology class, I had a bit of a back and forth with my teacher. But it was completely respectable. Nobody was calling anybody names. It was an argument between me and the teacher and the test we had just taken, which basically actually made everyone who got the question right wrong. And for those people who were just filling in a bubble hoping that this is the right answer, they got it right. But by the end of that argument, as everyone received their papers, we're like, yeah, this question is actually this answer. The answer to this question is actually this letter, not this one. But that confrontation ultimately got me sent to the principal's office, where I had to actually change classes because there was no way she was going to treat me fairly. But you see, the conflict I had ended with just simple words, no cursing, no bad names, nothing. It just basically ended with me having to get a new teacher. At no point did causing bodily harm to this teacher cross my mind, not even in the slightest. I wasn't about to pick up a chair, hurl it across the room in hopes I, cause some damage. But these students nowadays are crazy. I don't know what better word I can use, honestly. So let's go and hop into this story here from the New York Post, and this is kind of a follow-up to what happened in Florida. This is the story of the teen who almost beat a teacher to death for taking away a Nintendo Switch. Florida teacher severely beaten by a 270-pound student over a Nintendo Switch refuses to help defense lighten sentence. First off, before we get into this story, could you imagine almost being beaten to death, and the only reason why you didn't get beaten to death is because some bystanders were actually able to pull that person off, that they would have the balls to ask you to help lower the sentence for the person who damn near killed you? That is almost as insane as the beatdown itself, but let's jump back in, let's get to reading this story, and we'll give you guys my points of view. The Florida teacher who was beaten unconscious by a 270-pound student in a viral video has refused to help teen's defense lighten his sentence, according to a report. Again, even to ask is just absolutely mind-boggling. Brendan Depa, then 17, violently hurled Matanzas High School paraprofessional Joan Naydich to the ground, then could be seen in the video kicking and punching her in the back and head more than a dozen times before he was pulled off by other staff. The troubled teen told investigators he attacked Naydich because the teacher ordered him to stop playing a video game on a Nintendo Switch. Who the hell thinks it's a good idea to bring a gaming console to school? And where is the parents of this kid? If my kid were trying to bring their Nintendo Switch to school, I'd be like, no, why would you need to bring a gaming console to class? I think it's crazy that most of these parents give their kids smartphones, to be honest with you. Having like a feature phone or a dumb phone does make sense. In case of like an emergency, you need to contact your mom or whoever else. But to give these kids even smartphones that they can take to class is beyond me. But let's jump back into this so we can continue. Depa, who was charged as an adult, faces up to 30 years in prison for the first-degree felony charge of aggravated battery. According to Flagler Live, Naydich has shown no interest in mitigating what penalties Depa might face. The autistic teen, who pled guilty to avoid trial, was initially charged as a juvenile in the case before the gaps were upgraded. Still, Judge Terrence Perkins still has the option sentencing him as a youth and meting out the penalty as low as probation. The teen's disability will likely weigh on his decision. Now, 18 Depa had 3 prior battery arrests before the shocking February attack on Naydich, who was treated at a hospital after the assault. Flagler Live also reported that Depa got into a brawl in jail just last month. Depa is a monster of a human being, standing at 6'6", and apparently this school has a history of a lot of problems. Just this week, 11 students were arrested at the Palm Coast school. See, that's not good. That's insane. But given the facts that this student has a history of getting into into fights, not to mention the brawl he got into while he was in jail, tells me exactly how they should treat this case. Listen, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be on the autistic defensive side of this thing. But if there is a history of violence with this particular student, there is something you need to do long before this ever happened. Let's be perfectly clear, this should have never happened. There were clear signs and clear warnings, but I can tell you with a level of certainty, if this incident didn't happen, Depa would have eventually done it to someone else. And I say that because there already is a history of this stuff happening with this student. And a person having autism doesn't give you some kind of shield that allows you to get away with beating people. They always say autism is on a spectrum, but it doesn't give you superpowers to get away with whatever you want to get away with. And in my last thoughts regarding this story, not only because Depa threatened to kill Naydich during the arrest, I firmly believe if you go and watch the video, which I will link it down in the description below, I obviously cannot show the uncensored version of it, but just watch the video if you have a stomach for it. If no one else was there, Naydich dies. It's that simple. Depa would have beaten this teacher out of existence. Maybe I'm wrong, but you go ahead and watch the uncensored video yourself and you tell me what you think in the comments down below. But I am going to wrap it up here, guys. As always, do not forget to hit the like or that dislike on the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you hopefully get notified every time I post a new video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.